I have been moved by all who spoke about the book, about Dr. Rukobo and his family. I was listening very carefully when our former Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. Mishek Sibanda, went memory lane. Now it provoked me to now reassign the two gentlemen, Dr. Rukobo and the former Chief Secretary. And I've seen we have got Comrade Matema there, who is also another writer here. No, you know, you can raise your hand. Don't shy. They are now. So I've already said Dr. Mohamed Matema. So I was whispering to Dr. Rukobo, and I said, you stayed in India. One thing you have not done is about the history of our country. And many a time I've said, when I meet with the British, I said they were 900 years behind us when they came to occupy us. 900 years, almost a millennium. Because we were more civilized. We had our first doctor in 1670, Father Michael. And we had our graduates way back to 15th century. And that story is well contained where Dr. Rukobo was in India. Yes, we have brought a lot of literature and given it to the church here and to Midland State University to do the transactions, because most of it is written in Portuguese. But what is more important is that Zimbabwe taught religion to 4 continents. The original Indian continent, Asia, China, and South America. We taught religion. Because when the first was Father Diop, the son of Emperor Gutsarusere, who were taken by the Portuguese, exchanging, the Portuguese thought these were representatives, they were ambassadors, but then they were converted to Christianity. And so, Diogo, we are still tracing where he is. But for Father Michael, we have now refurbished the church. We have rebuilt his grave in Goa. So this one was for Gutsarosere. The next, Father Michael, was from Emperor Pararidze. The third group was from Emperor Mpande, that had my senior name Constantine and his brother Joao. But they were quite a number. And we would want now writers like this prolific writer to end that chapter. The chapter was opened by the late Comrade Dr. Stan Mdenge and our founding father, the late President Comrade Robert Gabriel Mugabe. And that history must now be completed. So we have where we started on the statecraft to the present day. We want our statecraft to be properly documented. Where we erred, it must be documented. Where we triumphed, it must be documented. Director of Ceremonies, Teach Matambanadzo, the author of the book, and you wanted to, were you trying to say an itinerary, and what was it? What was in your mind? An itinerant social scientist, Memoirs of the Public Servant, Dr. Matenda Rukobo and Amai Rukobo. The Minister of Skills, Audit and Development, Honorable Professor Paul Mavima, Politburo and Central Committee members here present, led by the Chairman of the Elders Council of ZANU-PF, Comrade Dr. Sidin Tigere Sekramai. Honorable Deputy Ministers, Clerk of Parliament, Comrade Kenneth Choguda, Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. Martin Shwayam, is represented by Ms. Mulea. Former Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. Mishek Sbanda, Chairperson of the Institution of African Knowledge, Professor Simbi Mbako, Principal of the Herbert Stepo School of Ideology, Comrade Ishmael Mada, members of the Diplomatic Corps, permanent secretaries here present, senior officials from our revolutionary parties and PF, commissioners from the Anti-Corruption Commission, captains of industry, the academia, and professional associates, the media fraternity, comrades and friends. A good afternoon to you all. It is with a deep sense of national pride that I stand before you today to officiate at the launch of this important academic work, the Internet Social Scientist Memoirs of a Public Servant, by a retired distinguished civil servant and intellectual comrade, Dr. Matenda Rukobo. This occasion is not a literary event. It is a historical and ideological milestone that bears testimony to the life of service and principled leadership of a man who walked the corridors of power, yet remained rooted in the values of humility and revolutionary consciousness. Dr. Rukobo's 475-page memoir is a panoramic account of Zimbabwe's social, political, and institutional evolution. From his early upbringing to his academic pursuits, and eventually immersion into public service, Dr. Rukobo chronicles not only his personal journey, but also the journey of a nation striving to define itself beyond the confines of colonial legacy. His writing is sharp, reflective, and boldly patriotic. This is more than a memoir. It is a rich tapestry of personal testimony, national history, ideological grounding, and poised reflection. He brings to life the itinerant nature of service, traversing academia, government institutions, ideological frameworks, and the historical epoch. The book is at once an autobiography, a philosophical discourse, and a public administration case study. A rare blend achieved only by one who has lived through and contributed to the very processes he writes about. As the great Pan-African luminary and founding father of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, once proclaimed, African history demands a radical rewriting. This publication responds to that charge with academic rigor and ideological clarity. Dr. Rukobo's reflections are steeped in liberation instruction and pay homage to the giants of African nationalism. He walks us through his intellectual encounters with iconic figures who shaped the continent's post-colonial imagination. The late founding father of Zimbabwe, Comrade Robert Gabriel Mugabe, the revolutionary martyr, Comrade Herbert Wilshire Amandine Chitepo, Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere of Tanzania, Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda of Zambia, and the founding president of Namibia, Comrade Sam Muyoma. He also received mentorship and guidance from His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa. Distinguished guests, this is why today's event is not simply a book launch. It is a reaffirmation of the values that must underpin the humanization of power, the democratization of service delivery, and the moral revitalization of public institutions. The moving patriotism that permeates Dr. Rukobo's narrative calls us back to our roots. I am particularly stirred by the evocation of the liberation song, whose chorus goes, Nyika yedu yeZimbabwe ndimo matakazvarirwa. Anamai nababa ndimo mavari. Tinoda Zimbabwe neupfumi hwayo hwese, simuka Zimbabwe. And this is literally translated in English. Zimbabwe is the land of our birthright, This is the land of our mothers and fathers. We love Zimbabwe and all its wealth. Rise, Zimbabwe. Do we stick to that, or we have forgotten that this is our country? We are Zimbabweans, we remain Zimbabweans, and everyone has to be committed to be a Zimbabwean. There is no other country, no other place besides our birthright, Zimbabwe. Fellow revolutionaries, let this text become a call to arms, not of weaponry, but of intellect, unit, and patriotic responsibility. Let it inspire a new generation of public servants and policy thinkers who are not afraid to interrogate the past in order to better shape the future. In a time when nations across the globe are grappling with identity, governance fatigue, the generational shifts, this book asserts a Zimbabwean voice that is bold, principled, and self-defined. Let us read it not just with our eyes, but with our conscience. Let us discuss it in our institutions, reference it in our policy making, and preserve it in our national archives. It is quite frankly a gift to the nation. Thank you, Dr. Rukobo. To Dr. Rukobo and your family, we say thank you. Your contribution to Zimbabwe's intellectual capital, civil service history, and national vision is deeply appreciated. Your work will not only outlive you, it will shape those who come after you. May this book find its rightful place in every public administration, school, policy think tank, and national library. Let us continue together to write our stories and govern our country with fidelity to the people. In doing so, let us also recommit ourselves, especially those of us entrusted with public office, to the highest standards of ethics, integrity, and accountability. The civil service must stand as a bastion of incorruptibility and moral clarity. Only then can we safeguard the public trust and ensure that the machinery of government serves the people, not personal interest. I thank you.